Heather. Wow, this is already looking so animated and has such a cool personality. So let's see here what you have with your layer masks. Look pretty good. Usually what I do is I zoom in. Be sure to also add them for the face as well. So let me just give you a few little tips of how I kind of organize my workspace. I go through, and what I'll do is I'll select all these body parts. Just hold down Shift and then that, and then if you click this little folder icon, it'll put everything in a layer group, right? So that looks pretty, so it makes it really easy to manipulate some of that. So I'm going to put, I think this is Chris, right? So then you can make it bigger or smaller and so on. Another thing I would suggest is not to add anything to the background till your caricature is a little bit further along, but you can just turn it off. Then you can really see what's going on a little bit more. So let me zoom in. So these are okay for this week, but you definitely want to smooth out the masks here. Let me make sure that this isn't a mask. Where is it? Is that it? Yeah, be sure to go back into your mask and really smooth it out. You don't ever want to have anything really this rough. And you can use all kinds of tools in the mask, while you're inside the mask, like the smudge tool and so on. So definitely go back and clean it up. And that's really a good demonstration of why that you use layer masks. So you can see here, oops, there it is with this one. If you would have not used a layer mask, you wouldn't be able to bring these pixels back. So if I go and turn this off, oops, second. Oh, here it is. I realized that you had your Puppet Warp, so you have to turn this off. So then you can really go back in and clean this up. And I would definitely, mask everything out before you do any kind of Puppet Warp. I would not even use the Puppet Warp, or I would use it really sparingly, as it just kind of looks a little, it can be kind of overused. So as you can see, without the Puppet Warp, it's so easy to make a selection with this. Is that the right one? Oh, there it is. So basically, let's see, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to turn it back on. So yeah, you can see how much easier it is to clean up these selections, without the puppet thing on. And again, you can go into your mask here, and you can use things like the smudge tool and the smooth tool. So where did it go? There it is. Blur tool even works to refine layer masks. So again, I always start with the strength kind of lowish, but again, you can just go on there, and then again, if you click your right or left brackets, you can make the brush bigger. Make sure I'm in this layer mask, and then you can kind of go in. That's too big. I zoom in really a lot because then you can really see what you've got going. And this is just normal workflow with Photoshop. Then you can kind of smooth it. That's one way to clean it up. But for this, to delete this, I would probably just go in, with the polygonal lasso and just click. And do some stuff like that. That's kind of the really quick and deep, dirty way to do it. And it's pretty easy too. You don't have to do it manually when it's straight lines. Straight lines are so much more easier to do. You can use the magic wand tool and stuff too. So again, where's your other one? Is that it? Let me turn your smart filters off. Yeah, I think you might have warped this one first because I'm seeing all this kind of, it looks like you just use the eraser tool. So anyway, just a little tip. Again, this is all about learning. I love how you have your, you really thought these angles through. So you've got this one facing and then the side view. And I really like the phone, and the cables are really cool. You could even think about using, I kind of like the blue headphones though. I was kind of thinking to myself, I wonder what it would look like with, some of these kind of headphones on it, like kind of like a certain, like a different color or something. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the blue ones though. They're really cool. So yeah, and be sure to go, when you go into this, be sure to get rid of all this background in here as well. And you can use the magic wand tool for that. I think your variety is really good. I mean, really have a good sense for putting, the objects together. Again, some issues up through here. I would probably go in and maybe even just delete all of that, just because it doesn't, it's not really adding much to it. And another thing I would also suggest with the, with the screen, I think it looks pretty cool, but I think it would look really cool if you had something like this, you repeated this kind of look and feel up here. And one thing that I usually show people later on, there's that. I'm looking for your face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge these just because I want to show you something. But so what I do is I can select these, and then it's going to merge them, and I'm going to say there. Where is it? Merge. So it merged those into one. So if you go into this layer here, and you go up to the layer, and then I just kind of like to look at the layers, so I just go to the filter gallery. And again, if you click this, you have to make sure that you can see what you're working on, right? There it is. And you can change the color too. The only reason why this is black and white is because I have these colors here. So let me cancel that and make it kind of a blue, maybe a real lighter blue or something like that. I don't know. Again, you can do all this stuff yourself. I'm just kind of trying to... Anyway, so now if we go back into that filter... excuse me. I've been doing these critiques, and I'm losing my voice. Okay. So again, there's a lot of different ways to, to work with this. And again, since it's not straight across, it's kind of going at a diagonal. But just to show you, this is the halftone pattern. So, and there's a couple different ones. There's line, dot, or circle. Circle looks kind of funky, but I love it actually. And there's the dot one that looks more like it's printed. But the line looks more like a screen. So if you play, gosh darn it. But if you play around with some of the size and the contrast, you can get it to look pretty cool. Oh, that's kind of way off. So anyway, just a kind of an idea to make it look kind of interesting. There's just, it's kind of a cool way to kind of add that kind of like a screen effect to it. Let's see, maybe even, and again, you could change the color so it's more contrast. Like if this was a darker blue, it would have more contrast. And again, when you use this kind of thing, it's kind of better to keep it a little bit simple. So even if you put something, this is really cool actually. Really great idea. I think that it could kind of look, have a lot of unity, because let me go back to the window history. Oh, it's already open. Where is it? Oh, here it is. So I'm just going to go back up and unclick that. I think that if you did something more with this look and feel, let's go up here, because it's super cool looking, I think it would look stronger, and I think it would be more intriguing, because this looks really interesting, and this kind of looks more a little bit like a cartoon. So you just might want to kind of think of some different ways to make this a little bit more interesting and, more intriguing and less cartoon-like. And I know I showed you this stuff all, before, but let me see if I can find that one that So he did it here with this little Mario. You know, and I think it looks kind of cool because it's the same green of the Game Boy. So again, you know, just things to think about. And of course, you don't have to do it, but I would just continue to work on that. You know, there's a lot of ways to warp stuff too without using that puppet warp. Let me see if I can find. There it is. So if you click here and you go into Edit and you say Transform. Now see, the warp won't go on because it's a smart object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and rasterize this. Yeah, so if you want to get rid of, I just wanted to show you something. So to get rid of, if you do ever want to get rid of the smart object, just click on the layer and then just say Layer, and then it'll give you an option to rasterize, and just say Rasterize Smart Object. Then it brings it back to something editable, because you can't really do that much with, I mean, the idea of smart objects is then you can open up the object and it will just replace it for you. So so again, so let's say I was just going to show you this other, and it's not the puppet warp, but it's just a warp. So you can play with this. And you might want to create some more, a smaller grid. It's not. I need to get more. Yeah, I need to create more grids. Just a second. So yeah, once you have, and this is just that edit warp, then you have a little bit more control over what you do with it. So you can kind of move it in. You can just kind of play with it a little bit more. You just have to kind of be careful because there's a mask in it. So you can try that, or there's a lot of other ways that you can bend lines and so on.